All right, guys. So sorry about this because I'm a little bit sick, but I had a comment asking how to. I have to re-record this because I forgot what the comment said. Um, and this is actually an older comment that I missed on accident, so I'm sorry that I missed it. It said, what would you do for the game to finish when a certain amount of points or score is reached? Okay, so basically for the game to finish. And I'll just take this one step further and we'll say basically how to fire an event of some sort. But we'll take their event into consideration, how to make it where the game ends or whatever. But basically how to make an event fire whenever a certain score is reached. As of right now, we, as far as I can remember, to do this tutorial a month ago, I think. As far as I can remember, we're not keeping track of the score anymore. Let's go check the player really fast. Oh, we are actually. Where is this coming from? So a cool way of doing this, like let's say we're working on a project and you're like, man, I don't remember where this thing came from. Well, what you can do is you can say find references, and that'll at first glance will just give you all the references inside of here. You can double click on it and it'll move you straight to that node. But then you're like, well, what if some other blueprint is calling this? What you can do is you can say find in all blueprints, and we'll see right here BP target update score. We can do this add score here. So actually there's a lot less work in this that I needed to do than I thought, because we're just casting to the first person character, which isn't something I would 100% suggest. So what we're going to do is the first part of this video, I'm just going to show you how to come straight from what we're doing here, and we can take the score and we can find out if it's reached a certain amount, and if it has, then we'll do an event. And then I'm going to show you how to kind of clean up some of this code, because I don't know if I was just in a hurry or whatever, but we really should not be casting. We should be using interfaces or soft references or something along those lines. I think we'll just use interfaces because it's a little bit more of an intermediate way of doing it, and then soft references is more of like an advanced way. But we can at least use the interface, which will clean up 99% of a lot of people's code of just switching to using interfaces instead of casting as much as you can. All right, so looks like I'm in the player controller, or not player controller, sorry, the first person character here, if you're following along. And if you're not, I will leave a link either in one of the iCards up, and then it was at the top right of the screen, I think is where it goes, or I'll also put it like down in the description to the last video. They actually went over how to make the whole shooting range situation. All right, but looks like we already have a score, so we're already keeping track, which is awesome. And really all we gotta do is pull off of here and ask if it's greater than or equal to a specific score. And the reason I'm saying or equal to is we have an array of different scores that we were using, wherever that was target. Where were those? Oh, here it is. Where we're casting something. Casting to the first person projectile here, and depending on which part of this actor that we hit, whether it be the middle ring or whatever, we gave it a different score. So that means we could come in at different points on our score. So if we're looking for like a baseline, oh, hey, you got so many points, excuse me. If we're looking at a baseline, you've got so many points, then we can just say like 300. And for right now, let's just do this. We'll print game over or something. We get 300 points. Game over. So you'll see right here, like instantly, we're just comparing this to a number. We can always make this into a variable by right clicking and promoting it if you wanted to, and then you can keep track of it in one spot if you're having to utilize that number multiple times. But yeah, for right now, we just print game over. We're gonna come up here, grab this, and we're just gonna fire some shots. And bam, if you saw up there on the top left, it said game over, which I probably should have had it go for a little bit longer. But yeah, just rewind the video and slow it down if you need to see it. So what can we do to like end the game? Well, to end the game, that's actually pretty easy. You could literally just type quit here, quit game quits. That's probably not what you want to do. That's what the same result would be like if I'm standing here and I press escape. It's the same idea. We don't necessarily want that, right? But what we can do really, really quick, and this literally is how you would just fire off an event. If you have a door that you're wanting to open or whatever, you would just need to get a reference to that door and then say that you want to open it. I think I've done that a lot in other videos. If you guys want to go check out that, if you're needing help on it, please let me know in the Discord or in the comments. I will kind of walk you through it. But let's do like a UI really quick, and I'm just gonna do this inside my main, and we'll go to this UI, and we already have a HUD, so this is great. We already have a HUD, so what we can do in here is in our canvas panel we can add a vertical box, right? And then we can, with that selected, with that selected, we can hold Control Shift, click on anchors first, then hold Control Shift, and then click on this one that has the centerpiece. And what's going to do when you do that is going to move it straight to the center if you're holding Control and Shift. If not, it would just kind of move the anchor there and leave your vertical box behind. And you'd have to move it manually. All right, and then we can just put some buttons in here. And I'm going to make this going to be really crude, and just to give you guys the idea, we're going to do a text and a button, so make sure that the text is inside of the button. Okay, and I'm going to call this the restart button. And make sure to name your things accordingly, like some kind of like underscore button or something, so you really know what it is when you're looking through your code. Makes it a lot easier. And if you're going to have like your text change or something like that, then make sure to name your text accordingly. If you're not going to have it changed, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And we're not going to have this text change at all. We're just going to set it one time right here, and that'll just say restart. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold, like with the button selected, I'm going to press and, my brain. I'm so sick. I'm going to do a Control D, and that's going to give me, and when I just realized what that sounded like that I just said. When I say I'm so sick, I mean physically sick. I'm like, I think either cold or flu or something. I don't know. Sorry if you caught what that sounded like prior. My bad. Wow, my head today. Okay. All right, guys. We have restart button. This one we're gonna actually rename to be our quit underscore button, BTN for short. The text in it is going to say quit, and these guys are right on top of each other, which I don't like, so I'm going to select both of these. And a quick easy way of doing this, I'm just going to do 25 on their padding, and then you'll notice that the vertical box is still up here and these guys are not inside of it. So what we're going to do is size to content, and then that will give us that. And another thing I want to do really quick, I want to take these buttons here, or sorry, the text, and I'm going to make their font bigger. So let's say about 42. That's going to raise the size of the buttons and everything. And I'm just going to take outline settings on these and set them to 2. I'll give them a nice outline. And I'm going to select the buttons. Same thing, we're going to go to style. Go to the tint. Maybe give it a nice like blue. I'll probably be making the quit button red here in a minute, but I'll show you that in a second. Outline settings, I'm gonna take the corner radius and set them to 12. That'll kind of round them off a little bit. And I think the outline color is fine with the white. And then what you want to do is just copy the normal style here. See how I collapse that, and then I right click copy. I'm going to paste it on hovered and on pressed. The only thing I really need to do here is set the tint to hovered to be slightly lighter than the normal, and the pressed to be all the way lighter. And that'll give you a nice little change whenever you're doing stuff. And then in our quit, I'm just like quit by itself. Quickly change this to a red. And then just do the same thing on these, where I go red, slightly lighter, pressed, the red, and it's slightly lighter. Like you could even take the make them green whenever they're pressed if you wanted to. However you guys want to do it. And then we don't really want this vertical blocks to be seen all the time. So one thing, we need to be able to reference it in the code. And so I'm going to call this the game over VB per vertical box, and then make sure to click this is variable. That way we have access to it. All right, so in the graph, actually real quick, with the game over VB selected, we are going to go to visibility and we're going to set it to collapsed. Okay, and so that means that whenever we hit play, we can't see it. If it wasn't collapsed, it would still be in the middle of our screen. Let me show that really quick. So it's just always there. But we want to set that to collapsed. You can also set it to hidden, and I know that it kind of makes a little bit more sense, but you can, from what I understand, it like is slower. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's basically a little bit more performance heavy to keep it hidden rather than just collapsed. If that makes sense. All right. So inside of our graph here, we already have a get score here. I'm gonna go back to the event graph, and we'll just make a new event and call it game over. I think that would work. Or sorry, let's make a custom event. Sorry, game over. Excuse me. Where we're basically going to grab our game over VB. We're going to set its visibility to not hit testable. Or sorry, no, we want the visibility to be hit. Just make it visible. Screw it. Easier. I'm confusing myself and I'm sick. Just make it visible. And I'm not sure if that would go down to the children as well, which I'm pretty sure it won't. I guess I'm not gonna worry about it. Visible will be perfectly fine, I think. And if it's not, then we'll find out and I'll fix it. So next thing we want to do is we want to get the player controller, and we want to set show mouse cursor to true. And oh yeah, set, what is it, game mode set, not game mode, input mode UI only. There it is. I'm all over the place. Sorry if this is confusing and stuff. And let's grab our player controller, plug it in here. We don't really need a widget to focus on. We could just say self for this. Perfectly fine. And we don't want it to lock mouse, I think. It's been a while since I've done it this way. Remember, I work in VR, so most of my UI is actually in the world. So this is a little weird for me. Okay, and so now that we have that, we can call that from our first person character. So if this happens, what we can do is we can get our HUD reference that we made before and call our game over function. You know, obviously want, like in your final product, to set the score higher, because with this 2 shots and it's game over for me. And notice everything is still moving in the background, but I can't move. I can only use my mouse. And you notice I can click on these. I'm not doing anything obviously for right now, but let's go ahead and give them a little bit of logic. Okay, so what we can do in our HUD is we can go get our quit button, because this one's really, really easy and quick. Go down here and on pressed, we can quit. Obviously, if this is a multiplayer game, you want to destroy the session first, all that good stuff. But if you're watching this video, you're probably not to the point where you want to be making multiplayer games just yet. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Trust me, that's what I'm going through right now. And then we'll take our restart button, and what we can do is we can get the level name, if I remember correctly. Yeah, get current level name. And then we can say open level by name. And this will just restart the level. And something else we could do, just real quick to kind of make this nicer, is we can grab another text and put it inside of here. Let's select the text. It's center justified. Make this like 56. And basically what this is going to be is our score. Then say 5,000 was our score, something like that. And you notice it's kind of pulling the buttons. If you don't want to do that, you can kind of squish them down by selecting both of the buttons and then coming up to our horizontal alignment and just setting it to where it's center aligned, and it'll keep them right around the same size as they were. If you want it to stay filled, then you can click this where it'll fill horizontally, but I'm going to keep it to where it's a little small. And let's give this outline on the text just to make it a tiny bit prettier. So actually go like 5, make it really stand out, that outline. All right, now back to the graph. Whenever game over happens, what I would do is set that text prior to making it visible so you don't see the text change. And so we can get the score text, and then we can set, we gotta make that text a variable. I will just call this end score, and then text. And this, I think, is when we made our binding for the other score. And we can grab our end score text here. A set text. There it is. Plug this in. And since this is changing before it becomes visible, we'll never see it change, which is really nice. We just wanted to show the end score and not show this whole score 5,000 unless we actually have 5,000 in our score. All right. So with that done, and then pick up our stuff, shoot, and there we go. Restart, and we're showing our score. And so I can hit restart, and it'll give me the game back. Okay, and that's another thing. We restarted, but we didn't didn't give us control back. So whenever we press that restart button, just for like a split second prior, we're going to, let's get our player controller from up here. We're going to set show mouse cursor to false. And we're going to set input mode to game only. Okay, and then now we can be able to shoot. Here we go, hit restart, and now we can move again. Cool. Now we can shoot, and now we can quit. There you go. And then if you had another level, it would be basically the same idea as this restart button, where you would still want to remove the cursor and everything, make it to where they can play, and then you would just open a level by name. So let's say that this is a different level. Like we have like a, you know what, screw it, I'll just show you guys. We don't have another level to open, but I can show you guys really quick. We can just say duplicate this guy and maybe put this one up above, because this is the copy. Put the copy up above, and this will be like next level, and this one would, oh whoops, we'll just go over here and just say next level. There you go. And then in the graph, we can have it open a random level. Don't think, let me see if there's any maps. I think we're in the starter map, yeah? Maybe not. Let's open the starter map really quick. What's in here? Okay. Cool. Settings. I'm gonna set this to be our game mode, I guess. Let's see if that works. Whoa, that is loud. Okay, starter map, very loud. I don't want to use the starter map now. What's minimal default like? That's peaceful. Okay, we can deal with that. What you can do is just go F2 to kind of rename it. What's first person map like? Or is that the one we're in? Okay. You know what, let's just duplicate first person map here. Let's show in folder view. We can duplicate this. Not gonna let me duplicate. Okay. Save this really quick. We're just gonna copy, paste. All right, you know what? Here. New level, basic, create. Just put like a block in it really fast. Game mode. And play. This is not the correct thing. Oh, first person. I am so blind. There we go, and there's our first person character. Okay. So let's save this. And we'll just call this level 2. I'm also going to copy that before I pull that out, so I can quickly and easily come over here. Level 2, grab our next level button, unpressed. Grab that, pull it up here, plug it in. Again, we would want to do pretty much all of this. Move this down really fast. Okay, plug this in. And again, you can make this a variable so that you can modularly use it. And then let's open recent level, our first person map, hit play, really quickly shoot, next level, and now we're in this empty level. Cool. So that's how you can jump from level to level, all that good stuff. All right, so that is pretty much it. That's probably way more than what you guys needed to know on a lot of that, because I'm long-winded and that's just how I am. But let's go ahead and show you guys how to clean up all that stuff by using or a couple of interfaces. I'm gonna make a new folder inside of my blueprints folder here under underscore main. Call this interfaces. And in here, I'm gonna right click, go to blueprint interface, and I'm gonna name this first one BPI player, and the second one something like BPI score. So what we can do is on the BPI player, what I like to do on this is get player reference, and so what you can do is have it output a reference to the first person character. This is called player reference. There we go. And in order to utilize this, we got to jump over to our first person character really fast. Go to class settings, implemented interfaces, and I'm going to get the, I'm going to type in player, get my BPI player. You'll notice that over here under interfaces, I have a drop down now. I can get player references, double click on that, and all we got to do is give a reference to ourselves. And this right here alleviates casting. So what you can do is say get player pawn, and then get player reference message, and bam, same thing as casting, only it doesn't keep it open. So in our, I think it's our target, that's our first person projectile. We'll change this in the score. Glad I remember that. Let's just find, what you can do if you want to find something really fast is you can say cast to first person character, and we can grab that, right click on it, find references, and it looks like we already have 2 references here, so I can delete this one, find the second one in here, and replace this with our get player reference. Plug this in, plug it in, plug that in, and that's cleaner. And now we can go find it everywhere else. So in our weapon component, which we don't really need this because we're not the ones who wrote this, but we can very easily use our stuff anyways. Player reference, so we're no longer casting to it. Plug that in, there we go. Let's find that guy again. And this one, same thing, but we don't have to get the player pawn this time. We can just pull off the other active player reference. Plug this in. For the arms. So you really don't have to do it in all of these different places, but go ahead if you want. Clean it up a little bit. And then here's our get score. So here is where we really need it. And honestly, we shouldn't be binding this. So if we want to go even a step further, this whole get score text, if it's bound, it happens every frame. So I'd rather not do that actually. What we can do is we can just take our format text here. We can literally delete all of this. Oh, and then delete this guy here. We have to do a little bit of cleanup. We're gonna make a custom event and on score changed. What we can do, and we can actually make this a part of our new interface as well. And okay, so it's giving me an error right here, and the reason for that is we have a score and we have this get score text. We need to remove that binding. Pretty sure that's what the error was. Yeah. So just remove the binding from this. So we've pretty much completely broken this script for right now, and now we gotta go fix it. I'm gonna close a lot of this other stuff that we definitely do not need. Don't need the rifle. We might need the rifle. Might keep that open. Oh no, we don't need the rifle. We need the weapon component probably. No, we don't. We can close that. Player. What do we need? Okay. So let's go back to our interfaces here. Open up BPI score. And let's first of all do one called on score update. And we can add, whoops, delete that, sorry. Add an input of type integer, and this will be score to add. Or let's do on score update as we're sending the score to the UI. So then we just send the actual score. And then let's do another one. Let's say on or you know what, here. Okay. Sorry. This is a little weird. On score update can just be our score to add, like I was saying before. And then we can just do another one where we get player score. Trying to think, this is what's bad when I don't do this prior. Trying to think of a clean, really simple way of doing it, and then I have to go, okay, how do we want to do this? Let's go ahead and start from the beginning though, and we'll do an on score update. I'm gonna delete this get player score for right now because I'm not even sure if I want it. But best thing to do whenever you get stuck like this is start at the beginning. And what's happening at the very beginning is our BP projectile is hitting something, right? And what is it hitting? It's hitting our target. So we need to go to our event graph and find where we are hitting the target. And see, we already have a nice update score thing here where we are taking everything and we're multiplying it by some sort of multiplier. And then we're getting our player reference and we're adding score to them, right? And that's all fine, but we can actually do this even a little bit cleaner without even using our player reference. Now that I'm looking at this, we can actually delete this and call that on score update directly on our get player pawn. Push in our score, and then now we're spawning the text and we're setting the score straight to them, which is fine. And in order for this to work on the player, is we also have to go over here to the player, same thing we did earlier, class settings, and implement the score interface here as well. So on score update, we can take that score that we're adding and we can just get our normal score, say plus, We want to add this score into it. And the reason we're making sure that this goes to the bottom is what if we're doing like a negative score to add, maybe for some reason, then you'd want it to minus from the hopefully higher number, right? So when we get that score come in, I think we already had like a add score. So we can actually, let's just do it like this. We'll paste this up here, replace this. And before our check to see if our score is high enough, and I'm just gonna remove that and plug in score directly to it just to keep it cleaner. We can get our HUD reference and we can make a new function here called update score. So really, we didn't even need the interface to have a whole bunch. We just needed an on score update. And it's just a clean way of talking to whatever. And the big reason that that's clean is before, whenever our target hits something, right here, we were having to make sure that it was the first person character. Well, what if you change characters? What if 1,000 things, right? If it's not the first person character, you'd have to recode this whole area and probably a whole bunch of other areas if you do the code the same way as where you're always getting that player reference. Here, we're not getting the reference. We're just saying, hey, get the player pawn. Now, granted, this will only work for single player. If you guys are wanting to do multiplayer stuff, the same concept will work, but you'll have to do it in a different way. You'll have to reference the player in a different way. But for us, for right now, we're perfectly fine doing it like this in a single player thing, because player index 0 will always be the player that we want it to be. Won't be the wrong player by accident. So yeah, we can send that score along. We can go to our first person character. We can get our HUD reference. Now inside of our HUD reference, we need to make an area. I'll just copy this really fast because we need that, where we make a custom event, and we'll just call it update score. And then we will have it input the new score. And we just set that score into our text. And this will not be our end score text, so let me remove that. A little quick tip, instead of having to delete that, what you can do, restart, quit, next level, game over. And where's my score text? Oh, because this score isn't a variable. So set to variable, go to our graph. Now we have our score text, and I can just put this on top of that. See that green check mark? It'll change the node to the score text node. And like if you want to change it back, make sure you get the green check mark, let it go. You know what I'm saying? Nice quick tip on that. And you'll notice I'm not doing any logic. I'm not comparing anything inside the UI. The reason for that is you don't want to. If you can compare and do all your logic like this inside of another item, it's a lot better. So that you basically, UI is just, imagine it as your screen. Sure, there's some buttons on it that can do a little bit of logic, but for the most part, the UI is just there to display information. So if you can keep from doing too much logic inside of your widgets. All right. So we can get our HUD reference and we can say update score, and we can pass in our new score. And then this should all still work the same, but cleaner. And we won't really notice a difference, but if you're making a bigger game and you're going for a while, oh, our score's gone. I forgot to fix back to our HUD. Forgot to fix this guy right here, our game over, where we are setting the text. And so in our game over, let's also just pull this over, and I'm actually going to make this, let's just do it like this. and we can just plug in our score. And if you want, you can change the name of this to score. We'll plug it in like that. Same idea, back over to our first person character. And you'll notice now we have a score here. We can just copy paste our score node, plug it in there, and we're good to go. I feel like I missed something now I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah, so our text is not correct. We want to format this. So we want to format text, and this would be score, and I think I wanted to do the same here because I probably messed that up. We'll just do score, and then we'll do a space, and then these curly braces, and you can just type the word score or whatever you want to name the variable right here. Plug this in. I'm gonna copy paste this up here. Same thing. Plug this in. There we go. And now it says score 100 in the top over there. I don't know why my score is 100 already. Oh, that's because that's what it says right there. So we want to on construct, we want to set our score text to be something specific like this. Okay, now we don't have anything running every frame except for our movement on these guys. And then now we have our score up here. It shows a nice score down here. We can do our next level. We can restart. All that good stuff. I know this one was a really long-winded one. Sorry, it's because I just kind of threw it together. I saw a comment and wanted to quickly put out a new video because I haven't done it in a while. And I want to do one on turrets next. Since we're already doing a shooting range, let's do one on turrets and ideas like that. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe down below. Send me a bottle of NyQuil. Just kidding. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.